Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I have a double feature in tanks for you. Yes, tanks, the thing with tracks that are not flying, not sailing. Yeah, for a change, and it is not just tanks, it is World War II tanks, best kind of tanks. And in fact, I am here in the Hellcat and later on the M10, but not the American versions. In fact, those are, you guessed it, the Chinese versions. But they give me the chance to revisit them. And they also teach me again a lot of the things that I have known in the past, but I have forgotten. There is so much to know about War Thunder, you cannot really think about it. And when you know them, then you forget about them, etc, etc. Now, before I talk about here, the purpose was the shell. How did that one got in? I don't know. So this is a comparison video, and it is also very important that I point out here that I want to compare it under the aspect that the Hellcat is pretty much a very, very good tank, and that is actually leading to a problem based on the player, because it's so much tempting to overextend, to rush ahead and just get yourself killed in the process despite your good performance. By the way, 76mm gun, that was an interesting non-penetration. So yeah, add-on armor works. It never works when I drive those things, right? So yeah, Hellcat and the M10. And the M10 is pretty much a cheap, a budget version of the Hellcat. It also has very light armor. It also has a 50 cal and an open top turret design. And it also has a 76mm gun. But what really kills the M10 and also the Achilles, which is the 17-pounder equipped British version, is the turret traverse. It is at very best full spaded, fully trained ace crew, 4.5 degrees per second. That is level of casemate tank destroyer level, right? The Hellcat, on the other hand, 25. And that then is the ultimate reason for the battle rating difference in my books between 3.7 for the M10 and 5.3 for the Hellcat. Because you can react to threats, you can react to the enemy movements, you can guide in the shells much quicker, and you also have on top of this the maneuverability. Now, what I also can learn from time to time is revisiting, places that I have not really known before. And so now I am using a small pathway that I've never discovered before, because I was always tunnel visioning on getting around this situation. So you never stop learning in War Thunder, really. And now I am in a very, very good position. Now, and I also then fall victim to my own poison, which is misguiding, making a mess out of a kill. And that is in fact an M10. And then I only hit the lower tracks, so it doesn't go in. And then just as I aim up, he goes behind the rocks. So I wasted 3 shells on a guy that has probably no idea that I am here. And that can get you killed very often in the Hellcat if you do not reposition in time. Why? Because then the enemy suddenly gets aware of you by hearing the gun sound, seeing the muzzle flash or the puff of smoke. I tried to aim higher here, and still I only hit here the lower tracks. And then I hear something, and this is why I don't shoot. The Jumbo Sherman actually disables here the Hellcat, and this allows me now to be the unexpected threat, and a Hellcat kills a Hellcat. That World War II immersion, right guys? So the M10 also got killed by a plane, for all things. And yeah, this will be quite amusing if we come to the second gameplay. So here a nice binocular shot on an M4A3E2, another Jumbo Sherman. Usually they are pretty hard to kill from the front, but from the side it's okay, especially if you shoot below the tracks or behind the tracks, because there is only then a 38mm plating which also is very, very lethal if they try to angle a little bit and you just shoot the front driving wheel and the shell just overmatches the armor or just goes through anyway. So I now think to myself, oh man, there are nice traces coming from this tank, but in fact this is one of those situations where there is a tank behind him. This tank was not on fire and it wasn't displayed really as destroyed from me when I looked at the screen at the time, so I shot him. And that is an M19, so it would be a shame if I wouldn't give the shell to him. Perfect hit on the ammo rack, the gunner and the commander, but it vanishes and doesn't blow up. That's some of the AAA stuff that's still around. And then there is this Sherman, and he makes the mistake of going down the slope, stopping, unangling his front armor, and that's an easy penetration, one-shot kill. So that's an ace. Very nice gameplay. And so back to the topic, yeah, the Hellcat, it can get you killed because of this good performance, because you rush in, because you overextend, because there is nobody for you to support, or you just go through a very tight spot where the enemy could shoot you and somebody actually sees you coming, and then he just nails you or disables you, and then you get shot up because you cannot get away from there anymore despite you not being killed with the first shot. A transmission hit, an engine hit, if it is not a hull break, is all that it takes to immobilize you. And the great strength of the Hellcat is really the mobility. So here then I try to go closer, we have all the advantage for quite some few minutes, and then I get killed by an M16 MG for all the things. Now the M10, and this is now the Chinese version again, 3.7, and I kind of always think that this is a good tank. And it truly is. It doesn't have a really effective armor, it has a bit more trolley armor. Also the gun breach can absorb some of those turret shots, so hull down in this thing is an option, but not at close quarters. Again, the turret rotation speed only 4.5 degrees. Pre-training your turret at the location where you want to shoot is the key. Now very important is here the game mode that we're playing on the Carpathians map. And I absolutely love the Carpathians map for low tier, middle tier, you know, World War II tanks. Not the higher World War II tanks, I think up until 5.7 it's alright. But this game mode is the battle game mode. And so it takes very often very long to finish this game mode if one team doesn't steamroll the other and vice versa. So, as you can see, I try to flank here, and the tank is not really that fast in comparison to the Hellcat, and this gets amplified by this tank not being spaded. And the funny thing is here that this is the first battle in this tank. So, no, in fact it is the second, I'm sorry about this, but this is the second match, and the previous match I was killed very early on. However, I sinned a little bit because I bought the parts and the FPE as well as the horizontal turret drive. And you will see that this will literally pay off. So this is a little bit of a showcase of pay to win. Now the rest of my team pushes with me, and so they provide actually a very good distraction. And you will see what I'm talking about in just a moment. So there is one heavy tank pushing with me, it's a KV-1 in fact, and I am looking here, I must not waste too much time, but to be honest, I cannot let this kill go. This is an enemy M10 or an Achilles, yeah, it was actually an M10. No Chingles effect for you guys, not yet at least. So I need to push on to get into one of the most effective positions on this map. There are two very, very good positions. I know that behind this little ridgeline that I'm climbing up from the side, there are multiple enemy tanks. But the turret rotation speed limits my effectiveness, as well as the lack of horsepower to ton ratio, stock tracks, stock engines, everything stock. And then I also try to support here my team that they can push up. So let's kill the M4 there, good stuff. And then let's have a look at what is there to be seen. Has some of the enemy tanks, if some of the enemy tanks had the same idea, I also observe here the ridgeline. And looks like nobody has pushed to this location from there. Okay. That is good. Now I try to position myself in such a way that I can ambush the enemies from behind. Now this works as long as nobody respawns and they have observed the kill cam to know where they got killed from. But here comes an M22 and I just couldn't depress the gun. He has fired, but he has a rather quick reloading 37. Now I've mentioned the trolley armor on the M10 before, and this is why this guy with a relatively bad 37 hesitates a little bit. Funnily enough, he also has not the best turret rotation speed, which has saved a lot of high tier tanks, believe me that. Because this is one of those meme vehicles. So now the KV-1 is there and he provides me with excellent distraction. There is another M10. Well, it was actually the Achilles, the British 4.0 I think, with the 17 pounder, and then I kill also the M22. My driver got killed, but thankfully not more. So another shell bounces off my side armor, probably on the turret, and that gives me time to reverse. There is a Sherman that has spotted me. So I reversed behind those hills, those rocks, so he cannot hit me. But he wants me to get killed, because I am in a very nasty spot for them. But now the KV-1 moves up. And so I use this guy to my advantage as a distraction. He could have played here better. He could have shot the M4 in the side of the turret with ease. But now the M4 pushes up. And I actually bounce off the back of the turret. Oh, that was a bad shot. But I can reload. He looks still at the KV-1. And then, yeah, the tank sadly wobbles forwards a bit too much. And I only hit the tracks. And, again, this... Don't do this at home, kids. That's bad. But now, the blind shot through the trees actually gets me the kill. Oh, War Thunder, you're so silly. So those are some very, very important kills. Now I look at the minimap, and one of the enemy's heavy tanks has actually pushed near our spawn. But some tanks are behind him, and I still have to figure out if I can push into now the best spot there is from my side, from my team side, and also if I can deal here with this heavy tank, because it looks like this heavy tank yeah, provides a lot of problems for the rest of my team. I can see the smoke clouds, the smoke puffs, a lot of action is going on. He's spotted because he is actually in the vicinity of our spawn. So can I kill this guy? I take my sweet time, and I only hit the fuel tank. Oh, that's an M24. Okay, let's move up. Now this is very nice because it colors actually your hull, so you can advance a little bit. But yeah, this is actually one of those problems. Your team need to secure both flanks, because also this hill is providing a lot of opportunities to reposition yourself. And now I'm looking for also the ridgeline climbers from the enemy team. If I can find them, there is some action going on. Try to figure out where they are. I'm very careful, because if I overextend here, that's all that it takes. I'm also looking at the minimap, and the KV-1 is pushing up to the enemy's spawn, which is not a very nice move, but at least it gives me a warning. You know, if he gets killed, then I know that I have to watch my back, because it's rather unlikely that somebody disables the KV-1 and moves on without killing him. So here I also try to stay close to the stone wall, because that is providing me with a little bit of more security towards yeah, getting visually detected by aircraft. So while I have this 50 cal, I don't use it as long as I don't have to use it. And then watch this shot. Side shot here, and again, no penetration. What's wrong with the 76mm? And now this shot is the charm. 6 kills. Okay, some action is going on right in front of me. Have to watch out. And we move up. But we're really careful, okay? This is now very, very tempting that I move down there. And yeah, what a shame. I actually brought the tree to fall. Because that would have been the nastiest spot. And no aircraft ever would notice you. And this is where we kill nicely a Churchill Mark III. I think it was angled for the rest of my team. But I had a nice side shot. Because I came with a lot of patience from an unexpected angle. And now I'm just holding this position. This is the definition of the perfect frontline position. I still have the suspicious feeling that something's going on, and actually somebody drops an artillery strike on me. But there is no escape for me. I have to hope here for the best. Yeah, I have to take the chips where they may fall. And just wait it. And hope that I don't get killed. Also, I have pretty big packet loss right now for no reason whatsoever. You can see, you can hear the bomb falling, and it was not a perfect drop, so I am safe. Now, smoke. There is smoke going on, and watch this. He doesn't see me, but I get shot from the castle ruins. And that looked like a low velocity heat shell. It takes out my driver, but no more damage. And the Cromwell actually gets killed by the KV-1. That is again pretty close. Now I have to wait for the smoke to settle. Where is the enemy tank? Where is he? Don't see anything. Has he gotten himself killed? Questions, questions. The KV-1 is also not advancing, which is unusual for a KV-1. I'm still wondering where this tank is. I have been shot. And maybe he's just behind the rock walls, waiting for me to turn the turret away. And so I now have to really be careful because I cannot resist. I need to kill this guy quick. Thank you. Thank you for another kill. And there, the shell came. Can we kill him? I only kill his commander. God damn it. But again, here, the trolley armor was saving me. Now, sadly, I have lost the machine gun guy. And did you see this? For a brief moment, he peeked out. He tried to bait my shell. But I am way too disciplined for that, because I've seen this enough. So this is where patience and experience comes together. Also, this guy, I'm countering this guy, and this guy is countering me. I am now talking to my team. Hey, there is an M8. I'm giving away even the tank type, right? And I'm giving away his positioning. And there was an enemy AC Mark II AA, British 20mm equipped AA. And the KV-1 is decapping A. This is putting so much pressure on the enemy team. Now, there is now no more tank support on my rear except one tank that is in the vicinity. And I'm now thinking to myself, I have to get out of this situation as long as this M8 is not killed. And that is the first time that I don't get a kill outright on an enemy Cromwell. There is. And we kill him. But that was actually the Valentine Mark IX. Right spot, wrong tank. Okay, and I think I just got shot from there again. And there, did he see the tracer for just a moment? And he reverses. Okay, so I need to extinguish the fire here. This was some beautiful repositioning from this guy. Credit where credit is due. And now I'm again in a spot where the tank wobbles a bit. I cannot move to correct this. I have to wait for the 30 seconds of repair. This is intense. This is intense. And now the kill feed is also pretty bad. The enemy team is just steamrolling my team. And I am trapped here. This is a good positioning, but this guy has multiple ways to move. I am so sluggish, and this bad rotation speed of my turret is just really hindering me. And when I turn, I have to turn the turret in synchronicity with the hull. This is pretty difficult. Now A is still decapping. That gives my team an advantage. And my team is still holding the positions. My team is coming back a little bit here. And again, I try to rotate the tank hull here, looking if there is an enemy tank coming. This is where I am most vulnerable, because some of those heat shells actually have been absorbed by the front of my tank. Now, the funny positioning here is that there is a T-34 spawn camping the enemy team from the hill, right? Practically from the middle of the map. That is a flaw in the map design and something that Gaijin should fix, but you know, this is one of the first maps that has seen the daylight of War Thunder. It has been reworked a few times, but this has never been addressed. Well, Gaijin obviously doesn't care about such little details. So, while I try to get into cover, I spot here this Churchill and I swing the turret and the hull around to get the gun on target. I have to risk it. Now, it could all be over here, but I get here the kill, and that's my double ace while aircraft are flying overhead. And I also try to immediately get gun on the positioning again, onto the position again. Now, the funny thing is here that the M8 HMC actually killed our spawn camping T-34E. I'm not even mad. Good stuff right there. And I try to get into cover. Can we make it? Yes, we can. So those ridge lines are a very good cover, and I can now try to think. I still have 10 rounds left. There are aircraft flying overhead, and again, I cannot get crew back. First of all, B is very far away. It's not really that far away, but it takes a long time and a lot of careful positioning and a lot of careful driving to get there. And I also have this modification not yet unlocked because, you know, grinding. What to do? Patience, patience, patience. And finally the M8 got killed. There is the assist message coming in. And now this gives me all the time in the world to move up into my old position again. I tried to shoot here this aircraft, and I think I should not have taken this shot. Because a decent aircraft pilot knows where this shot came from, and I actually immediately after that get shot by something. I'm down to 2 crew, and that is bad. So where is the enemy aircraft? I don't know. And now again, like in the beginning, I go close to the rocks. It provides me with a little bit of cover. It restricts a little bit the attack angles of the enemy aircraft. And there, that was a Typhoon. That was the Typhoon with the 7.7s. And he didn't spot me right there. So let's move on into the old position, hopefully. And let's try to get some other kills. So I think that I turned the tide of the battle here substantially, significantly. I've done my job. Perfect frontline camping, perfect ambushing, working around the weaknesses of the tank perfectly, and also good decision making. But it is War Thunder at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter how good you're in a tank. There is always a plane ruining your almost perfect gameplay. And that was the comparison between the Hellcat and the M10. And despite the M10 being overall a worse tank, it just is the slow pace that makes this tank at the end of the day work for me so that I don't rush into the enemy team and get killed. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more. And as usual, we will see each other on the waves, in the skies, and on the battlefields of War Thunder.